All right, I'm back in the fight chair. Man, it's good to be home in the fight chair. This video here is about why this is the deal. I'm telling you that Conor McGregor should ink for himself with the UFC. Number one, only sign away the rights to your image and your likeness for specific performances and events that you've taken place in the UFC. That's the first thing you should do. Don't sign away the rights to your likeness in perpetuity. Because what's going to happen is that after you leave the UFC, they can put you in a video game, anything after the fact, after you're gone. Okay? Make sure that you get that royalty money for your family when you're not around. Number two, $100 million may sound like a lot of money, but go ahead and work out the present value of $100 million and assume that that's what you're getting. And then number three, plan for your career after you leave the UFC. Start developing streams of revenue right now. I'm gonna give you some examples. Rampage Jackson is in the UFC, but he has a line of gyms and fitness facilities that he has people working with. Okay. Chael Sonnen has a restaurant, has his podcast. He's a commentator on ESPN. He has other things going. Start developing those avenues and venues now. The movie thing, that's great. Get into the movies, develop other streams of revenues, but protect the rights to your royalties and to your work. This is the same thing that Randy Couture was talking about, why he had to leave UFC, why he had to break her from Dana White. Protecting ancillary rights in your contracts. I mean, you work hard. This is your legacy. You want your family, if you start the Conor McGregor style of mixed martial arts and you have a system you develop, you want your family to be able to market that system and promote your legacy based on the work that you've done in the UFC and the effectiveness of the system that you've developed. You want to be able to capitalize on that. It's your hard work. If somebody came to me and said, listen, I'll give you $100 million now, only one catch. Your family will never be able to benefit from the hard work that you put into your career. They'll never be able to benefit from the likeness of your image. They'll never be able to benefit from anything that you've done or have the rights to anything that you've developed while you're working for them. I would say no deal. You know why? Because your legacy, this is how martial artists make money. When they finish fighting, they make good. When they fight, they make good money. But when the fighting game is over and you can't fight anymore, then you start training people and how to fight the way that you fight. People will come to you and want to learn those skills, and then you teach them those skills. Then they go out and win. Then you become a coach. Then you move up to be a manager. Those type of things. And if you want to manage or coach, you sell your system. You sell your merchandise. You want to be able to have the royalties to your merchandise so you can provide for your family long term. $100 million may sound like a lot of money, but we know a lot of professional athletes who've blown through that in no time. Mike Tyson made like 200 something million, and that's gone. He's just making his money back. He's just working his way into making money back now. And the next thing that you want to get for yourself set up is a pension. Make it start putting in your contract that the UFC will match whatever you put into your 401k. They'll match that whatever you put to your independent 401k, so you can have something to fall back on. Now I know they use the excuse that, hey, you're not an employee, but if you're not an employee and you're an independent contractor, then you should not be barred from working with other organizations. You can't bar independent contractors from working with other organizations. And it's in the contract that while you're working for them, you're barred from working for Viacom, Spike TV, and any other MMA organization that would be considered a competitor. Now, as an independent contractor, you can't bar me from working with other organizations after I've done my specific performance for you. That's a ticket. That's the ticket. The fighters need more opportunities and need more venues. Only fighting in the UFC locks you down. Now, I understand that the UFC don't want you to fight because you're going to get damaged or banged up or whatever. Well, that's fine. If that's the case, then they should be able to give you the rights to your merchandise and your ancillary rights so you could make money. Okay? And the next thing that really irritate me after reading all this contract mumbo jumbo and realizing is that the life insurance policy that the UFC has on fighters, that you're required to submit yourself for medical testing and turn your medical records over. When you die, or if you die in the ring or have an accident or die or whatever, the UFC is going to be the beneficiary of that insurance policy. Nothing goes to your family. Now, for you as an individual to try and buy the insurance on your own, it's probably very expensive. But what the UFC should do is allow you to pay for a portion of that in that premium, and then if anything happens to you, that money, as a portion of that money, at least 50 or 60%, should go to your family. Okay, you don't want to die in the ring. And keep in mind this: that the $100 million that they promised you, or whatever money they promised you, is not guaranteed. You don't get that money unless you fight. Okay, so like last time, Jose Aldo, for instance, he was training all along, then he got injured. There's no money. He didn't get any money for that. And in addition to the training and doing the press conferences, UFC should also pay for press conferences. Fighters don't get paid for press conferences, don't get travel expenses covered. Now, if you're promoting this fight for 1 month, you're out on the road 1 month, and your bills are at home piling up for 1 month. You're not training for 1 month. You're not getting paid additional for that. So that's free work you're doing. And then you go in the ring, and if you lose the fight, the bonus that you'd have gotten to cover the cost of traveling and the cost of that time you took and cover that work is gone. So your contract, make sure that they pay you to fight separately, and then they pay for the press conferences separately. Okay? Because your job as a fighter is to show up and fight, not to market and promote the fight. That's where the problem is coming in. Because you do all that promotional work, you don't get paid for it. That's 1 month of work gone down the drain. And then when you travel, they don't pay for your staff to travel to these conferences. So that's a major problem I find with this contract. Not only does it prevent you from making money after you leave the UFC, it stops you from making money while you're in the UFC from other avenues. And then in addition to that, the expenses, the overhead costs that they should be shouldering, they say you're a contractor, so they put that burden back on you, so you're shouldering that burden yourself. And then in addition to that, you can't benefit from the life insurance. Your family won't get nothing in terms of the royalties if you die, or nothing in terms of the life insurance that they have on you. That's some serious stuff. So fighters in the UFC, read these contracts more carefully. Now, my next move is to look at the Bellator contract. We're going to compare the two. And after compare the two, I'm going to let you guys know what's going down and what other people have to go through when they go through other promotions. Because it can't only be the UFC that's doing this. I suspect other organizations are doing this. And we're going to find them out, and we're going to call them out, and we're going to hold them accountable. I'm not against the UFC making money, but I believe the fighters should be treated fairly, and we want to get the word out. I'm still love talking about fights. There's show and then there's business, but these guys work hard. They should get paid for the show that they put on, and should be properly compensated for the business that they're in. That's not right. That's all I'm saying. Because the UFC is, by my estimate, the UFC is worth $5.5 billion, and that's taking Dana White's salary and then using the averages that CFOs make and then backing into the number backward statistically with my calculations. It's a big set of mumbo jumbo. Yeah, I have an MBA in financial accounting and financial management, so that's how come I'm able to do that. But don't worry about my MBA. They give those to anybody as long as you work hard enough for it. Okay? So moving on. So my deal is this: these guys should be compensated fairly. And that's all I'm saying. Conor, make sure these guys don't rigmarole you on this contract. If you gotta go somewhere else to get a good deal, then do it. But don't let the lights. Because Ken Shamrock recently, he posted a video offering you advice, saying the same thing about the money, the ancillary rights, and how not to wind up like him. So I'm not saying nothing new. And some of the Conor fans are mad with me. I think I may have lost a couple subscribers off of that, but that's okay. I don't have that much subscribers anyway, and I'm on the internet. Where you going to come find me? So the whole point I'm making is this, guys: fight for what's yours. Don't let the UFC push you around like this. I know you fighters can't speak up, so as fans, we're gonna get the word out. And we're gonna let these young fighters know, if you're going into the UFC, go in there with eyes wide open. Know what you're going into, okay? Don't just walk in there blindly and think you're gonna achieve stardom. You may even get banged up. All right, guys? Peace out.